Hello there. Today I'm going to be showing you how to paint a Necron Warrior to a battle ready standard using just the paints and brush that come with this paints and tools set. The set is a good place to start as it gives you everything you need to build and paint all the miniatures that come with the starter sets. This colour scheme will produce Space Marines from the Ultramarine chapter and, importantly for this video, Necrons from the Szarekhan Dynasty. After clipping out and building the miniatures, I'll start by applying a black base coat using the Abaddon Black paint. This only takes a couple of minutes, but if you start painting more and larger models, it may be worth buying some black spray primer to use instead. It'll be a lot quicker and the primer will help to maintain the paint. It's what I usually use on models, but for this video I'll stick with this paint. Once that's finished, we can leave it to dry for a moment before moving on to painting all of the body panels in Runelord Brass. This will likely require more than one coat of paint to get a solid colour, so I'll do a couple of passes over for this. It's not vital to be especially neat with it, as you'll be going over the other areas in their respective colours anyway, but I do try not to get any on the black of the gun when painting the hands and fingers. Once I've finished doing the main body, I just pop the model off the base in order to more easily paint the feet. We'll be painting the base later anyway, so it doesn't matter if you get any paint on it or not, but I find it a bit easier just doing the feet like this. Next, I'm doing all of the bones and joints of the model in a gunmetal colour, using the Leadbelcher paint. This particular Necron is slightly battle damaged and has the body panel on its lower right leg missing, so the entire bone there is painted in this colour. The spine, backbone and neck area are all also done using this. I do try to be careful applying this paint, but it's inevitable to get some of the brass areas, so don't worry too much about it at this stage since we'll be coming back to touch up the brass later. Then, there's the gunmetal areas on the Gauss weapon too, the blades at the front and the metal bar underneath the Gauss rod as well. I'm showing the Gauss flater here, but it's very much the same process for the Gauss Reaper option. Just a quick touch up in Abaddon Black again, going over any areas on the gun where I may have got some brass or gunmetal where I shouldn't have. This shouldn't take too long, just be careful around the hands where they're holding the weapon. A similar process again now, just with the Runelord Brass, touching up the areas where we may have gotten some Leadbelcher where it wasn't wanted. The areas that usually need touching up here are the pelvis and shoulder blades, making sure to get the inside surfaces of these parts too. Still with the Runelord Brass, there's just one small detail on the gun that we need to do with it. This small set of 4 pipes towards the rear of the weapon. These can be a bit fiddly, but can be done with only the starter brush if you make sure to get paint on just the very tip. Now, before we do any of the green highlights on the eyes or weapon, I'm going to shade all of the brass areas using Agrax Earthshade. Being a shade paint, it gets into all of the recesses on the model, darkening them and really making it pop. The important areas for this are the face and rib cage, as that's where most of the recessed details are, although it will give a nice darkened colour to the entire model. You don't really want to get any on the gunmetal areas of the miniature, as it will ruin the colour. I would usually go over these parts in Nuln oil, but it's not essential and I won't here since it's not included in the paint set. Next, it's time to paint all of the areas we want glowing green with the Corax White. This is just an undercoat to make them really look glowing. We do the eyes, the energy cable on the gun, and then the 4 balls on either side of the Gauss rod. Some Necron miniatures will also have a cord hanging from their chest, which will also need to be done like this. If you instead bought the Necron Warriors and paint set, which doesn't come with white, you could use the Runefang steel instead, as that's the lightest colour included, but white will produce a better look. This particular Necron has a canoptic scarab on its back, so I just make sure to get its glowing orbs too. After this step, you may need to quickly touch up some bits if you've got any white on the other colours. And finally onto the Tesseract Glow paint to give these parts their green colour. You of course want to cover all the bits we just did in white with this, but letting it bleed into the surrounding area can yield a nice glow effect. I like to run it through the recessed channels on the gun that connect the orbs and the weapon. And again, not forgetting about the scarab on the back. Now that's the actual Necron completed now. All that's left to do is decorate the base. The Astro Granite technical paint that comes with this set is a very easy way to do this. Just spread a thick layer all across the base to give it a gravelly look. It will take some time to dry, mind. I'm going to use a couple of different paints instead to give more of a rocky ground feeling, which I'll show in a different video linked below. But don't worry about doing that for now. And finally, this warrior can join with the rest of its squad. I think they've turned out really nicely and look great. I hope you've enjoyed the video, or perhaps even found it useful. Please leave any feedback below, and thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.